Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to start today's session with you. Today we're focusing on Mega Goal 2.2, which is part of our Unit 10, titled, You Are What You Eat. We'll be exploring some interesting ideas about how our food choices impact our health and well-being. Throughout this presentation, we'll listen, discuss, and learn together. So, let's get started and see what's in store for us. Let's start with a fun and engaging question. What is the most unusual thing you have ever eaten? This warm-up is designed to get us thinking about our own experiences with food that might be a little outside the ordinary. It's a great way to connect personally with the theme of the presentation, which is about exploring different cultures and the unique foods they offer. Sometimes, trying something unusual can open our minds and expand our understanding of the world around us. So as we go through today's content, keep that in mind, how food can be a window into culture, tradition, and even adventure. Let's start with a quick warm-up. Think about your eating habits. Why do you choose certain foods over others? Are you careful about the kinds of food you eat, or do you sometimes just go for what's available? This is an important question because our food choices directly impact our health and well-being. When we're mindful of what we eat, we can make better decisions that support a healthier lifestyle. Throughout this presentation, we'll explore how our food choices connect to overall health and how small changes can make a big difference. So, I want you to consider, are you careful about the kinds of food you eat? And if not, what might encourage you to be more mindful moving forward? So, let's talk about the term myths. What does it really mean? Well, a myth is basically a popular belief or a tradition that has developed around something or someone over time. It's often not based on solid fact, but it becomes widely accepted as truth. Myths can shape how we see history, culture, or even certain figures, even if they aren't entirely accurate. Now, in the context of our presentation, understanding myths helps us see how stories and beliefs evolve and influence society. They connect to the bigger picture of how knowledge and perceptions are formed, sometimes based on tradition rather than fact. And just to clarify, the title of the quiz we're about to do is, What do you know about myths? It's a fun way to test your understanding and challenge some of those common beliefs. So, keep that in mind as we move forward. Myths are powerful, but they're also something we can learn to question. All right, now let's take a moment to test your quick thinking with a 1-minute strategy. I'm going to read 5 common food myths, and I want you to circle whether you think each one is true or false. The idea here is to challenge some of the misconceptions we often hear about food. It's a great way to see what you already know and to identify areas where we might need to clear up some confusion. Remember, not everything we hear about food is accurate, and understanding the facts is key to making healthier choices. So, as I read each statement, think about what you've heard before and decide if it's true or false. This activity connects directly to our overall theme of debunking myths and promoting better nutrition. Ready? Let's go. Let's check your answers now. I'll go through each point carefully to make sure everything makes sense. This is a chance to review what you've understood so far. Remember, our goal is to connect these details back to the bigger picture of the presentation. So, as I go over your responses, I'll highlight the most important concepts and see how they fit into the overall theme. It's all about ensuring you're on the right track and ready to move forward confidently. Now let's take a closer look at some of the food words listed here. We see items like blowfish, candies, chocolate, and gelatin, which all fall into different categories. It's important to recognize that these words can belong to various groups such as sweets or fish, depending on the context. For example, blowfish is a type of fish, while candies, chocolate, and gelatin are sweets. Moving on, we have vegetables like potato, onion, cauliflower, broccoli, and carrots, which are common in our diets. Then there are fruits like apple and blueberries, which are popular snack options and rich in nutrients. This slide's main focus is on the scanning strategy, specifically finding food words within different categories. The table helps organize these words into groups: fruits, vegetables, sweets, and fish. When applying this strategy, the key point is to identify and categorize food words correctly, which helps us understand the context and improve our recognition skills. Remember, the goal is to develop a systematic way to spot these words quickly, especially when they appear in various texts or conversations. So, as you practice this, think about how words are grouped and what clues can help you identify them more efficiently. Let's take a closer look at our scanning strategy for identifying flavors. On this slide, we've organized some common taste categories with examples. For instance, under sweet, we have candies, cookies, and even things like coffee and dark chocolate. These are all flavors that naturally evoke a sense of sweetness. Moving on to bitter flavors, think of lemons and green apples. They often have that sharp, tangy bitterness. Then we have salty flavors, represented by potato chips and olives, which bring that savory or salty taste to mind. And of course, sour flavors are also important, characterized by that tangy, acidic note. The key here is to find flavor words. These are the descriptors that help us categorize and articulate what we're tasting. When we identify these words, it not only improves our sensory awareness, but also enhances our ability to communicate about flavors clearly. Connecting this to our overall theme, understanding how to scan for and pinpoint these flavor words is essential for mastering flavor analysis and creating better products or experiences. So as you taste, remember to look for these keywords: sweet, bitter, salty, and sour, and use them as your guide. Let's talk about the blowfish, a fish that's known for its unique ability to be safely prepared and enjoyed. When we think of safety, the opposite of dangerously is safely, which emphasizes the importance of proper handling and preparation. Now, a key concern with blowfish is toxins. These are substances that can be poisonous if not managed correctly. The word toxins actually means poisons, highlighting the risks involved if the fish isn't prepared properly. In Japan, blowfish, or fugu as it's called there, is considered a delicacy. It's highly prized and enjoyed by many, but only trained and licensed chefs are allowed to prepare it, ensuring that the dangerous parts are carefully removed. This tradition underscores not only the cultural significance of blowfish in Japan, but also how meticulous preparation makes it safe and appreciated as a gourmet dish. Overall, this highlights the balance between risk and reward, and how expertise transforms a potentially dangerous ingredient into a cherished culinary experience. Let's talk about dark chocolate for a moment. Did you know that it contains antioxidants? These are substances that protect our cells from damage caused by oxygen. Essentially, antioxidants help keep our bodies healthier by fighting off oxidative stress. Now, when we say enhance, we're talking about improving or boosting something, in this case, our health. If you're looking for the opposite of reduce, think of words like increase or raise. So, in the context of health, instead of reducing risks, we want to find ways to enhance our well-being. Speaking of risks, consuming dark chocolate may actually help reduce the risk of developing serious conditions like heart disease and cancer. It's pretty fascinating how something as simple as chocolate can have such potential benefits. And finally, what might chocolate consumption reduce? It could help lower inflammation, improve heart health, and potentially reduce the risk factors associated with those diseases I just mentioned. So, in moderation, dark chocolate can be a part of a healthy lifestyle. Let's talk about frozen vegetables. Many people wonder if they are healthy, and the answer is yes, they can be quite nutritious. When we say nutritious, we mean foods that provide essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that our bodies need to stay healthy. Now, fresh vegetables are often considered the best option because they are just picked and haven't been processed, but frozen vegetables are a great alternative. They're usually frozen soon after harvest, which helps lock in their nutrients. Now, to better understand this, let's find the opposite of frozen vegetables. Think about what fresh vegetables are, those that are stored in the fridge or on the counter, not frozen. So, the opposite of frozen vegetables would be fresh vegetables. Recognizing these differences helps us make smarter choices about our diet and understand how different forms of vegetables can fit into a balanced, nutritious diet. Remember, the goal is to include a variety of vegetables, frozen, fresh, or otherwise, to keep our meals healthy and interesting. Let's take a moment to think about some foods with strong smells, like onion, garlic, tuna, and fenugreek. Are there any foods you dislike because of their aroma? Many of us rely heavily on smell to enjoy our food. In fact, our sense of smell is key to experiencing most of the flavor. Without that ability to smell, it becomes much harder to distinguish one flavor from another. So, how exactly does our sense of smell influence our taste? Well, it plays a crucial role in detecting different basic tastes: sour, sweet, salty, and bitter. For example, whether something is sweet or bitter isn't just about the taste buds, it's also about the aroma that complements it. This connection between smell and taste is what makes eating such a rich sensory experience. It's a reminder that our flavor perception isn't just about the tongue, but a combination of senses working together to create the full picture. So when we talk about dye equals paint, one common natural dye is cochineal. Now, cochineal is actually a red dye made from the dried bodies of female cochineal insects. It's quite fascinating because this same dye is used in a variety of foods we might not even think about. For example, it's found in yogurts, ice cream, candies, popsicles, chewing gum, and even in soft drinks, fruit drinks, and energy drinks. If you check food labels, you might see cochineal or carmine listed. These are just different names for the same red pigment. It's important to be aware of this because many people don't realize that these vibrant reds come from insects. Had you heard of cochineal before? What is it exactly? Well, it's a natural dye, but derived from insects, which might surprise some of you. Recognizing this helps us understand what's in our food and how natural ingredients can sometimes come from unexpected sources. It's a reminder to always check labels if you're curious or have sensitivities. Let's take a closer look at this list of words. Starting with delicacy, this highlights the unique and often prized qualities of certain foods or flavors. Moving on to toxins, which is crucial because it reminds us of the importance of safety and regulation in food production. The term licensed connects here, emphasizing that certain processes or products are authorized by authorities to ensure safety and quality. Then there's peak, which refers to the optimal point of freshness or flavor, a key concept in appreciating food at its best. Maintain is about how we preserve these qualities over time, ensuring the product stays at its peak. Aroma is a vital sensory aspect that greatly influences our perception and enjoyment of food. Finally, distinguish ties it all together. It's about being able to tell the difference between high-quality products and others, which is essential in our overall understanding of food excellence. When we consider these words together, they underscore the importance of quality, safety, and sensory appreciation in the food industry. All right, let's take a quick look at these true and false questions. As you can see, some statements are true and others are false. The key here is understanding how to evaluate each one carefully and critically. Remember, the goal is to not just memorize answers, but to grasp the underlying concepts that determine whether these statements are true or false. This reinforces the overall theme of critical thinking and informed decision-making. So, when you're faced with similar questions in the future, think about the main idea behind each statement and how it fits into the bigger picture. That's how you'll improve your understanding and make confident choices.